You know, in business, ambition is basically rocket fuel. It's got the power to launch an idea into the stratosphere to build absolute empires. But if you mishandle it, that exact same fuel can cause a massive, catastrophic explosion right there on the launch pad, taking the whole company down with it.
Okay, so let's get right into it. First, we're going to explore the two faces of ambition. Then, we'll see how a leader's own drive can create this invisible ceiling. We'll look at what happens when your employees are actually more ambitious than you are, unpack the whole overqualified paradox in hiring, and finally, lay out a playbook for how to harness all this energy for some serious growth.
So why is ambition such a powerful yet kind of dangerous force? Let's start right there, with that fundamental conflict at its heart.
I mean, check this out. It's the perfect contrast. On one hand, you've got the incredible constructive power of someone like Richard Branson. The guy channeled his ambition into building this huge galaxy of over 200 companies under the Virgin brand. But then there's the other side, the destructive side. Take the true story of the successful online retailer. They were getting buyout offers from major players in Poland and Germany. But the owner's ambition, or let's be real, maybe it was their ego, made them say no. They thought, nah, we can do this all ourselves. A few years later, the business completely collapsed. Same fuel, totally different outcomes. And that destructive side of ambition, it often leads to one of the most common traps in business, these invisible limits that are set by the leader themselves.
We call this the ambition ceiling. And here's the simple but really powerful truth. A company cannot outgrow its leader. It just can't. If the founder's vision or their maturity or even just their personal goals stop at a certain point, the business is going to slam into an invisible wall right there with them.
And this quote? It just nails a real-world story I came across. A classic case of that ambition ceiling in action.
Okay, so picture this entrepreneur. He had his first company. It was his baby, you know? Then he goes and buys a second, much more profitable business. And naturally, his attention shifts over there. But the team back at the original company, they were fired up, ready to grow. They kept telling him, hey, you're busy. Let us take on more. We can make this thing fly. But he just couldn't sever that umbilical cord. He refused to empower the very people who could have saved it. And by doing that, he capped its potential. That business is just stagnating now, all because he won't let it grow beyond his direct control.
All right, but what happens when you flip that script? When the problem isn't your ambition, but your employees? When their drive is the one pushing all the boundaries?
Just imagine this for a second. You've mapped out this sensible, data-backed plan for 3x growth. Then, one of your most talented employees walks into your office and says, why just 3x? I see a clear path to 10x. That moment, right there, how you react could literally define the entire future of your company.
So you've basically got three paths you can go down. One, you crush their ambition. You tell them all the reasons why it's impossible. They'll probably stay, but that spark they had, it's gone, and your business stagnates. Two, you reject the idea, but they're so convinced that they leave and start a rival company. Now you haven't just lost top talent, you've literally just created your next big competitor. Or there's path number three. You embrace it. You lean in and ask, okay, show me how. You empower their ambition. And this is the only path that leads to that explosive exponential growth.
And you know where this whole conflict really comes to a boil? During the hiring process. It's where a leader's deepest insecurities tend to come out.
Overqualified. We've all seen this word, right? It's got to be one of the most frustrating pieces of feedback you can get. But what is really going on when someone says that? Let's be honest. A lot of the time, overqualified is just code. It's the polite way of saying, this person's ambition makes me feel insecure. It means their vision might actually be bigger than the leader's, and instead of seeing an incredible asset, the leader sees a threat. It's a classic sign of a lack of psychological maturity. And this fear, it shows up as these excuses that sound really practical on the surface. An owner might say something like, well, he asked too many probing questions, or he's just going to get bored with our small operation. But the subtext, what's really going on in their head is, his ideas challenge me, or worse, he might want my job someday.
So it all boils down to this, really. Is your business a milking cow? Something that's just there to provide a comfortable lifestyle, where you hire people you can easily manage and control? Or is it a growth vehicle, a platform to build something way bigger than yourself, where you intentionally go out and hire the absolute best people you can find, even if they intimidate you a little? Your answer to that question determines your company's entire fate.
All right, so how do we fix this? How do we flip the script and turn this powerful, often threatening force of ambition into our single greatest asset?
Let me tell you this incredible true story. There's an 18-year-old student who starts working at an insurance company for just $80 a month, but his manager, she spots his immense drive, and instead of feeling threatened by it, she decides to mentor him. She gives him this piece of advice that completely changes his life. The heads of this company, she said, they aren't gods. They're just normal people who decided to go out and take what they wanted.
Just 5 years. Armed with that powerful new mindset, he left after 2 years to start his own thing. In just 5 years, from taking that $80 a month job, he became a dollar millionaire. That is the explosive power of a leader who chooses to be a launchpad, not a ceiling.
So what's the takeaway? It's a pretty clear playbook, actually. Managing other people's ambition really starts with managing yourself. It takes the psychological maturity to admit you don't have all the answers. It demands the courage to hire people who are smarter than you, and the wisdom to see them as assets, not threats. And it means building a real foundation of trust where bold ideas are celebrated, not shot down.
So in the end, it really all boils down to one question every single leader has to ask themselves. Is your ambition a ceiling that's holding everyone back? Or is it the launchpad that's going to propel your team to places you can't even imagine right now?